So I'm cleaning up around this old barn here. Got all these trees down that were up against it, but it was covered in vines all the way down. I got up to here, and it's just amazing the absolute strength that these vines have on the wall. Like I can't even pull this. There's no way. It's I mean, if you look at all of those individual systems that have embedded themselves into the concrete. And I was just thinking, because I was talking to Brandon, my son, today, and he was telling me, we were talking about the digestive system and how, you know, our digestive systems are considered our second brain. And he was telling me that the digestive system actually has more neurons in it than the brain has. And I just pictured that mucoid plaque that sits in our intestines from years of abuse of toxic food, cooked food, in everything we put in ourselves. And then, of course, the environmental chemicals and heavy metals and everything we're exposed to on a daily basis. But this just reminded me of like what that must be like. I mean, you know, just stuck along the intestinal lining, and not able, you know, there's no movement of it. And you'll see, look at this. Dang, that's unreal. Okay, now watch this. You know what I mean? And I just imagine that, like, the mucoid plaque just stuck to our systems, and, you know, as we age and get older, causing all kinds of diseases and ill health effects and memory problems and digestive issues and cancers. And I mean, look at that. You know, and that's what that mucoid plaque's doing. So what it's doing is, guys, and this is why it's so important to address this issue of diet and, you know, like I said, food being the anchor point of our enslavement, is because if your stomach or your digestive system is considered the second brain, right? It actually, it might be the first brain. And that's, you know, that's sort of the direction I'm leaning in, is because they've lied to us about everything, and, you know, they already know, and they just put out the wrong information. Because if we have more neurons in our stomach and our digestive system than in our brains, and we are clogging it up with all of this, then and all of our neurons are being suppressed, it plays right into why, you know, they say we only use 10% of our brain power, and why we have all these emotional issues. You know, we can't regulate our emotions. We're chemically imbalanced. You know, things such as following through and finishing things, brain fog, again, all diseases, illnesses. If you're working off a system that's only running at 5% of its capacity, and then as you age, getting even worse and worse and worse, and you're never addressing it, and the only thing you're doing is going to these experts who are giving you more chemical pills to pop into you, they're basically just, you're dead at most. I'd say most people are dead between the ages of 20 and 40. I'd say 90% of the population is dead by the time they're between the ages of 20 and 40. And they're just keeping you alive with dopamine hits, with pharmaceuticals. You know, basically you're just a slave to the system after a certain period. For some people it's younger, some people a little bit older, but you're basically just a slave to the system, and doing their bidding and doing what you have to do to stay alive, holding on to this life, when really you're just one big ball of cancer to, you know, let's say, society as a whole, not society as a whole, but humanity as a whole, and our actual, purpose here is so far gone from what we live for and strive for, going to work and working our dicks off 5 days a week, just to pay bills and keep a roof over our head and food in our bellies and our dopamine hits. What kind of life? That's not a life, that's living for something else, for someone else, definitely not for ourselves, because we're not addressing our issues. We're not taking care of ourselves. We're not putting ourselves first. We're not showing ourselves that we love ourselves. Instead, we're, mistreating and continue to, build this plaque that covers our thinking processes and our ability to function and regulate in our nervous system and everything else. And, yet we say that we love other people and we love our family members, when really we're just virtue signaling and, doing anything we can to distract ourselves, to keep ourselves in this lowly position in life. We have every single day, we have the choice whether to heal and change and do things differently and start putting ourselves first and actually proving to ourselves that we trust ourselves, that we love ourselves, that we care about ourselves. Because until we do those things for ourselves and prove those things to ourselves, we can't say that we love or care about anybody else. It's a fabrication. What we mean when we say those things is we know that we're feeling so sickly, and we don't know how to start going about taking care of ourselves and removing these blockages and start healing. So instead of focusing on ourselves, because that's too hard, and we don't want to face our past trauma and abuse, and we don't want to answer all these hard questions, and because we were taught through the indoctrination centers going to be given to us, and all we had to do was obey. So this is this healing process is a whole different ball game, that we're not used to, taking the reins and taking responsibility and making all the decisions and figuring things out for ourselves and trusting ourselves. So and it's so uncomfortable. So we're working our dicks off all week long. During the week, we're so freaking worn out. When we get home, all we want to do is plop down and turn on some more indoctrination, because that's what we were fed for 18 years of our lives. So we're completely addicted to the indoctrination. So we have to put a screen on in front of our faces and zone out, and numb ourselves. Or, and then on the weekend, what are we doing? We're trying to find some kind of distraction. Life is short, so we're YOLO, you only live once, so we're gonna fucking do what we can to make the most out of it. Is what we say, but we're really just distracting ourselves from healing. And then we complain, that we're hurting, or we don't complain and we keep it boxed in and bottled into ourselves, and but we don't want to hear anybody else complain. And so we distract ourselves with other people's issues, other people's problems and dramas, and whether that be through the TV or friends or family, anything that will take our focus off of our responsibility to ourselves and to our own healing and to our own health, and to addressing our own issues and trauma and abuse and becoming the man or woman that, we should be. It's scary, even once you get on this healing path, to think that we have all this power and we're so powerful and we're so pure, and yet you slowly come to the realization that on this journey that, oh my God, I've been doing this to myself for so long. I've been consenting to all this abuse and propagating all this abuse and propagating all this slavery and enslavement of my mind and body and immunity and nervous system and the functioning of my sixth senses. I've been dulling that out, and because we're hurting so bad, and that's just something I was thinking about looking at this, guys. It starts, if we're lined, if our brain is lined with this kind of intrusiveness that is blocking our receptors for our feelings and our senses, then no wonder we act so nonsensical. No wonder we act out and we only care about ourselves, and it's every man for himself. And, you know, we take what we can get and we look for every advantage in every situation, and we find our place in this sick, perverted society that they, you know, set up the narration for our lives in. And oh man, it's just, you know, it's really sad. We're all doing it to ourselves. You know, we want to point at all the rich people. We want to point at all these perverts. We want to point at all these authority figures. We want to point at the Roman Catholic Church. We want to point at the completely sick pharmaceutical industry and the completely perverted and sickening pharmakeia and doctor system and the health industry and all these industries. And we want to point at the sick and disgusting governments throughout the world and be like, well, we can't do anything. And, you know, all we're doing is we're escaping. We're using excuses to not address the things that we should be taking care of. You know, we'll sit there and watch and turn on the TV and pay attention to all these wars that they want us to fucking be emotionally invested in, and we'll be, you know, talking about it and knowing every little thing there is to know about it, and about every presidential candidate, and about what every celebrity's doing and what every sports star's stat is. But we won't take the time to fucking pull the cancer out of ourselves, pull this fucking blockages out of ourselves, so that way we can get off the system, get away from the system, and get rid of all of our dopamine hits, get rid of all of our addictions and programming, and create our own lives, and remember who we are, we are actually our soul, this avatar for this, or the driver for this avatar, this physical avatar that we're in, you know, is guys, they've been suppressing us, and we can take the reins back. You know, it takes time. It's a journey. I mean, it's not like you're just going to snap your fingers. It's actually going to be the hardest thing you'll ever do in your life. Like I said, you're going to be, for the first time, completely 100% responsible for everything, with nobody else to blame. And, you know, that takes a lot of guts. That takes a lot of courage to take those reins and not have any more excuses, and get rid of all of your addictions, and get rid of all the blaming and you know, we're controlled under AI and all of, you know, they can only control us because we allowed the control to happen. Sure, they got a huge leg up on us because of the indoctrination from the first 18 years of our lives, and our parents, you know, signing us up into the slavery system by naming and numbering and cataloging us into it. But guys, you know, we can either sit here and go, woe is me, or, you know, fuck it, I can't do anything, there's nothing I can do about it. Or we can actually, you know, face these things that are scary to face, you know, these things that follow us around in the dark and are always around every corner. They're going to be there till the day you die. Unless you address these things, you're going to always be afraid of that monster under your bed or in your closet. But yeah, you know, the good news is that we have the ability and the strength, and all we got to do is be courageous, because we are all highly intelligent, empathic, and sensitive beings that are able to deal with these things. Extremely strong. They've been poisoning us our whole lives, and we're still standing, guys. All we have to do is face these things that are uncomfortable for us. You know, we got to get out of our comfortable spots and do those things that are hard to do. And as we do them and we go along the journey, things get easier. But then, you know, it's like climbing a mountain. You know, you'll reach a certain crest, and then it's like easier going until you reach the next the bottom of the next peak, and then you've got to climb that one too. So, you know, there's ups and downs, and it'll get easier. And you think, you know, and life will try to trick you. These systems will try to trick you and make you think, oh, well, I'm done healing. You know, I've done it. I've faced everything. And then it'll trick you into jumping back into the system and playing the money game and playing the drama game and playing the put your attention over here and everywhere else game. And you just got to stay buckled down and stay true to your course of, you know, getting to the bottom of it and reclaiming your essence and your authenticity. And it'll come, you know, and you'll get it. And yeah, I've been seriously committed to this for going on 2 years. I guess it's been about 1 year and 8 months or so, or whatever it's been. And it's been over 1.5 years now, and I'm still healing, you know, still figuring things out, and still facing shit. So, you know, it's like I said, it will be the hardest thing you ever do in your life. And it takes a lot of courage, and it takes courage and honesty. Honesty is the other thing. You know, we've been lying to ourselves and lying to everybody else our whole lives, and, you know, those lies that nobody else will know, because it's only we know that we're telling the lie. And, you know, we lie to ourselves and say, oh, well, I'm not lying, you know, when we know we're lying. And yeah, it's digging out that dirt, and, you know, going back and figuring out and all the lies that we've told ourselves, and refacing and re-questioning ourselves and readdressing these issues, and coming up with the truth, and getting rid of all the bullshit and the all the layers of excuses and dodging the issues and not facing things. And, you know, it's a tangled web we've weaved, guys, and the older you are, the more densely that unpacking is going to be, you know. And it's going to take, I'm 43, and, you know, it takes time. It's a lot. I mean, because you're refacing just about every single lie, every single abusive thing, everything that you've done in your life is going to come back up to haunt you. And it's not haunting you. What you're doing is you're just reevaluating these things and facing them the way that you should have in the first place, instead of just justifying your actions or your words or your thoughts or your emotions. You know, instead you have an opportunity to relive it and make the right choices, you know. And it makes a difference, guys. That's what the healing's all about. And so yeah, you know, I'm on this journey with the fasting. I did, I think 22 days. I did 9 48-hour fasts. So I was eating every other day for like 18 days or 19 days, whatever it is. And then right after those consecutive 9 48-hour fasts, I did a 72-hour fast. And then in the past few days, I jumped right back into eating every day. You know, so it's a struggle. And I think what it is, and what I'm addressing now, where I'm coming at now, is I'm learning that the water fasting is not flushing this mucoid plaque out. It has the ability to, but you have to do some long frickin', you know, I'm talking like probably 20, 30, 40 day fast in order for water fasting to pull that stuff out. Whereas what I'm finding now is a juice fast, juicing greens and fruits and veggies is the way to go. You know, I've been all raw fruits and veggies for 4.5 months now, and I feel like, you know, it's doing what it's supposed to do. It is healing, but it's taking such a long time due to the fact that I'm dealing with this issue here of having all this gunk in my system that's not getting cleared out. And the way to go about what I'm finding is to clear that out is a juice fast, you know, probably 100 days of nothing but juice fasting. And what that does, because the juice is, negatively charged, and it's pulling that, or positively charged, so it's going to pull, like all you're doing is literally drinking juice with no pulp, juicing, and but yet you're going to shit, solid waste out of you, and that's going to be that mucoid plaque. And once you get that out, whether it takes 40 days, 100 days, however long it takes on a juice fast to pull all that mucoid plaque out of you, then you are reclaiming your physical avatar after that. You'll be able to function properly without all these pulls and desires and things that we deal with, having that it's like a serpent, it's like the devil. It's like having the devil inside of you, because it affects your emotions, it affects your behaviors, it affects your thought processes, it affects you, and therefore it affects what you choose to do physically with your body. There's no reason why we would choose to physically put poisons inside of our bodies unless we had something, a snake, a demon inside of us. This, speaking, I don't know what word, hypothetically, or whatever word I'm looking for, but this demon that's inside of us, controlling all those neurons that are saying, feed me those toxins, feed me those drugs, feed me that alcohol, feed me those distractions, feed me that good time. That's why we're having such a hard time facing our shit, is because we got this thing constantly nagging at us on, probably 80% of the neurons that run through our brain system, in both our stomach and our head brain, our skull brain, are being ruled by this parasite. So that's where I'm at now, guys. I know it's been a while. I've been taking time for myself and trying to figure things out. And this is where I'm coming to in the next step of my journey. And I'll be making some more videos as I come across things. But yeah, I hope you guys are being courageous, man. I hope you guys are, not giving up and just giving in to your addictions and your programming and your belief systems, your false belief systems. I hope you guys are, actually trying to make a difference in yourselves. I hope you're proving yourself and taking care of yourself, because nobody's going to take care of yourself but you. You are responsible for yourself. Nobody else is responsible for you but you. Only you can heal yourself. Only you can take care of yourself. Only you can get the chains off you that bind you. Only you. It's up to you, guys, and you guys can do it. You have all the strength, you have all the intelligence, and you have all the empathy, and you have all the power to do this. Guys, you just need to be courageous. You need to be courageous, and you need to be honest. Those are the two things that you have to pull from the bottom of you and put right in front of you, and run the rest of your life off of courage and honesty.